We'll get going here. First off, pursuant to Massachusetts General Law 30A, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. So Eric is joining us on Zoom.
So we're going to call the meeting to order.
And then we'll call the meeting to order.
5:17.
All right. First up, did anyone have any notes from last time, our minutes? No? All right. Does anyone want to?
I will move to approve the minutes from November 3rd.
All right. Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. So a couple quick updates, just Tree City. I keep looking, keep saying pending state review. So
They may not finalize it, I think, because the deadline is the end of December, so they may not review it until then.
that's right. So I just want you to know I keep peeking because if they do make a change. Composting, I talked to Michael, and he's going to start looking into it for real again. I think with the highway department and some of the projects they had going on this year also put the composting on the back burner. But Michael seemed to be pretty, I want to say, with it to start getting a hauler to start moving some compost out of the town. So
Wait, say it again?
he's going to start getting back into trying to get a hauler to then move compost for us out of the town, like Tommy's or.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does it have to go to town meeting?
I think with what I recall from our meeting at the beginning of the year, it's such a nominal fee. What they had originally got that it's pretty much
Doesn't need it.
yeah, because it's not from if it gets to a point where it is more, they might have to, but from what we were talking about, it's a pretty small.
Okay, great.
Small fee. So at least that can get us started. If it grows and gets any bigger than that, then we'll have to talk about it. I think, some people had talked about in the past, like some of our past meetings where some people wanted to do the composting on site. We weren't about that. That's crazy. No. So Michael's very understanding of that sentiment, but knowing that it's so much easier and concise to move with a hauler.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that, there's nothing really new other than it's kind of been retouched upon.
Okay, great.
Okay. As for,
Question. Do they have to put it out to bid?
well, I think that's still to be determined, I think, and that's on Michael's side.
Yeah.
Because some of the kind of prevailing averages were really low, really insignificant almost compared to what the overall budget of it is. But I don't want to quote or say anything because it could have changed within a year. So I think if Michael finds out that it is more than we were expecting, then they might have to go out for bid. But from what I remember talking around, for a couple of those 80-gallon, what do I want to call them? Trash bins?
Yeah, like wheeled.
The wheel, yeah, with the wheels on them. For once a week being picked up, it was like under $100. So
Per week, right?
for each week.
So
Yeah.
that's, then that could well come in under the cutoff, is it
Right.
$50,000 is the
Right.
cutoff for needing to go out
Right.
to bid.
Oh, 50, okay, so I didn't know that.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's 5,000. That
5,000?
goes to 5,000, right? If it's
Yeah,
100
yeah, yeah, if it's about 100 a week, yeah.
and the cutoff is 50.
Yeah, I mean, if we are producing so much compost that it ends up growing, you know, I mean, that was the anticipation from some people we talked to about like how much they were seeing from other places.
Yep.
Again, I think starting it in the winter time is what we had all talked about and why we're bringing this back up now. You know, we have the lower population. In the summertime, will that greatly increase? I don't know, you know, with all the influx.
Now, once it looks like it's actually going to happen, we'll have to do some education about
Right.
what they can take, because I know they pick up at rigs and it's
That's right.
specific about.
Yeah, when things really start, we'll have to probably put up some signage, which even maybe the haulers might be able to help us with.
Maybe start.
Stockbridge updates. I mean, I think we'll have to do that.
Select board meeting, make an announcement.
Yeah, make an announcement. The other thing too is, I think if we compost, there's that grant to that small, I think if we do this and do certain things, we can get credit and get a few $100s or $1,000 to help offset all of this from that.
Maybe.
Maybe,
So many grants
right.
that were here a year ago are not here.
That's true. Yeah, if it's still active. So that's, you know, we can have a real discussion about that when things are actually moving, but just that we did have a touch point for a minute here with Michael. All right. New discussion or discussion on new ag powers. I got confirmation after talking to Michael and Terry, Michael talked to Terry, and from their best understanding is technically we were constituted before 2016. I went back and double checked with Pete Westover to make sure that was the cutoff. Because I noticed in one of their PowerPoints, the wording was a little funky. So I went and triple checked with him. And he got back to me and said, yep, 2016. So needless to say, our article, we don't legally have to put an article forth because we are already been constituted. That being said, I think as we move through this process, I think there needs to be more education. Somehow getting that word out to people who have agricultural restrictions on their properties or anything like that, that we are here as a potential resource for helping them navigate succession plans, especially with these new powers. So I know we had talked about it being going to town meeting and, you know, bringing it up then and submitting the article. But it also seems like, to some people's points, it could be opening a can of worms if we do that, because legally through the state's eyes, we already have the power. But we need to educate people that it's there and how it can help with people planning for their fields or whatever they want to do in their succession planning. So I wanted to open up to all of you for any other thoughts.
That's good news.
It's good news. Yeah.
We don't have to go through all those steps.
Yeah. That's true.
So one thing that occurs to me is that we could work with the kind of wording that we've gotten from various people about what these powers are.
Yeah.
And summarize them, put them on the website, you know, on our page.
Yeah.
Go to a select board meeting and just make a presentation about it.
Yeah.
Just, you know, get it out in public in various ways. One thing you know, we talked about posting a survey on the website, and I realized, you know, I went through and started edited the survey that we got. And that was, I realized in reading it, it was handed out in paper, on paper
Mm.
to farmers. I think it might be worth doing it both ways, because it would be good to go to farmers in person and talk to them about it and try to get them to buy into the whole survey thing, because they have to provide information you may not
Right.
necessarily feel good about
Sure.
giving.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been over to the tax assessors yet to ask them about,
Yeah.
you know, how, who's paying, who's filing as a farmer. But it occurred to me, like, there are two people within a stone's throw of where I live who are beekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they sell their honey,
Mm-hmm.
but I really doubt that they're like filing as agricultural,
Right.
you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it would be great if we could find ways to basically get people to know that, you know, here's the whole list of all the different kinds of things that count
Mhm.
as agriculture.
Mhm.
And if you're doing any of them,
Right.
then, you know, we can help.
Right. Well, and I think especially if the town assessor has the list of everything that's already in agriculturally protected land, you know, a lot of these places we might be driving around fields that we don't know are actually under this restriction, which from my understanding, reading all the laws, you know, when they go to sale, we have a right of a refusal to go and make an offer if the field is, you know, being hayed this whole time. So even if it's not the obvious, you know, oh, that person has livestock or this, but the field might have it.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of fields, but I don't know what they are. I don't know where they are, who has what, you know, and there's also the possibility of people putting it under it. And
So does that decrease the sales price?
I
Is there a
think
disadvantage to
I think my understanding is like they get tax breaks, but they can remove it from the chapter, right? Just like the conservation restriction,
Yeah.
and then sell it for whatever they wanted.
Okay.
But I think it gives us the first to say like, no, we can't. We're not going to go for it. So then they can remove it and then sell it if they really wanted to.
And I think that if they remove it, then there's a tax consequence. It's
That's
not
right.
like, you know, you get a tax break for however many years and you say, great, now I'm going to make money on it. And,
Right.
you know, and there is some,
Mhm.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's an incentive to not take it out of
Right.
protection.
Yeah.
Another one of our powers, as it were, is
Mhm.
is about conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that would be good to let people know that, you know, if you've got a neighbor who's getting pissed off at you about something
Mhm.
that's about the way you're doing agriculture,
Right.
like come to us.
Right. It's just a good reminder. I mean, knock on wood, we haven't had much, but as people move in or move out, you know,
Change.
it change over time. So that, you know, that being said, now I think it's kind of where do we want to go from there, and what is our tack, which we don't need to think of all at once here, but moving forward, you know, with funds, with gifts and stuff like that, how do we want to use it really? I think with the assessors will be a good start, just to be aware of all these properties. Because that's the other thing I think that's where attention can come from. If we know there are people out there now that have conservation restrictions already, agricultural, they might not even still know that the AgCom has first right of refusal if they go to sell or something like that.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
the town has the right of first refusal,
Right.
not us.
Well, but we're the agent incentive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the ones who would bring it to the town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We-
we should clarify.
We should clarify that.
Yeah,
Clarify.
because the money would come from the
Yeah.
fund that we're going to set up. Although obviously the town can appropriate additional funds if the town wants to buy a property. I mean, the town is not limited to only having access to money that we're able to raise. But it's kind of good to have a pot waiting for just in case.
Yeah, because so in the law, which I included in the link, I think section, looking at, I think the main one we're looking at is G. It's under G. A commission may receive gifts, personal property or interest in real property as described in the subsection in the name of the municipality.
So the commission may acquire in the name of the municipality.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So I mean, we should talk to the council, any council, just to make sure
Set it up right.
so we set it up right, because that is a good point, Eric.
Yeah, because it says in that section, the commission
Yeah.
purchase interest in the land only with funds available to the commission. But a town meeting may raise or transfer funds so that the commission may require
Yeah.
in the name of the municipality.
I mean, but that's kind of like, the way I read that, and I'm not good with legalese, is, we are acting on behalf of the municipality. We obviously don't have any money right now. We're not.
Right.
So it's not like we're, but we would be the ones that are bringing it to the town and saying, this is important. Please give us money to then do X, Y, and Z with it.
In my experience with conservation
Yeah.
restrictions is usually it's the town that comes to the town often hears about it before the commission does. But the
Gotcha.
town brings it to
Yeah.
the commission to
Gotcha.
see if they're interested.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's something that we need to educate
If that's,
anybody in town in the town offices who would be
Aware of it.
involved. Yeah, because again, this section says the commission shall manage and control the interest in the land acquired under the subsection. And the commission shall adopt rules and regulations governing the use of land and water under its control, prescribe civil penalties. So wherever the money comes from, it seems like we're the ones who actually use it, basically.
Right. Because then the other thing that seemed Pete was talking about was like, then like, if we were to have this agricultural, then we would be the holders of a lease. If a farmer, we could lease it out to a farmer for 25 years or whatever, 50 years even, to hay or this or that.
Yeah.
Which I think that was the point, especially from the talk at Shaker Village, that is to make that land accessible and affordable for a farmer to come and hay it at a very discount rate. So it'd be good to just triple check these things, because we definitely don't want to go into when a situation arises, if there's a piece of property out there that comes,
Ready.
we have to be ready just so we know what we're talking about. We don't want to go in there and flash this paper around and then be shut down.
It should all be set up through town council.
Yeah. So, and I think for next steps, it sounds like getting a list from the assessor, finding out what's already there, just to be aware of it.
Are these all the 61A properties you want?
That's my understanding, is that they would all have to be filed under 61A.
Okay,
That's my understanding.
Well, I mean, 61A is forestry.
yes.
It's
Right.
if they're doing agriculture that's not forestry, I don't know. I don't know how they're listed.
Yeah.
61A is just forestry, as far as I know.
Well, yeah, because that was another clarifying thing. Maybe I'll ask Pete. I can email Pete back. Because like sometimes forestry is also, it's called forestry, but it's because, you're raising a crop of timber,
Right.
Right.
So a lot of times there was like this weird blurred line of when they're talking about, agricultural products, like timber is like this weird
Right.
floater.
Or does it include the
Does it?
beekeepers? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think not.
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I would assume not. I would hope not.
We just had a fight over
Mhm.
the property was coming out,
Mhm.
61A.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yep. And that's the kind of property that if the town, if we were set up with all this before that, and the town said, yeah, we want to actually protect this land and not have it developed, then if the town had acquired the funds, we would have ended up being the agent of, purchasing and managing it.
It's complicated though, because that did come to the Conservation Commission. So there's going to be some overlap.
Yeah.
And the Conservation Commission wasn't interested
Yeah.
it wasn't a wetland, but it wasn't a big enough wetland. But so it does go to the commissions when it becomes available.
Yeah. And then so land might end up going to both commissions and then see, which one might be more appropriate and is it desired anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think I'm in the Massachusetts law books here. I think timber is under some summaries put growing timber in the agricultural,
Yeah.
horticultural.
It is.
And so like maple syrup production, ornamental shrubs, raising animals, growing fruit, renewable energy products. I don't know. That's citing for that. I don't know. So that all being said, it might be good just to talk to council so that we are all on the same page.
Yeah.
Because I think there, like you're saying, Liz, there might be crossover with some of the commissions, and especially if that we could both agree upon what the best use of it is. I think it's there could be some properties or fields that come up that need or that would be, in the future potentially to look at and be ready for.
Yeah.
I do know from Pete, after I emailed him and talked to him on the phone, he said, I think Williamstown. Williamstown's is going through this right now with their ag commission, with Sarah Gardner. And I do know from their perspective, they went to the town and Eric, let me know if you know more about this, but I think they went to the town with CPC and they were worried that since there wasn't a project they were asking for, their CPC was saying no, like we're not going to just give you, which is fair.
You have to be specific.
You have to be very specific.
This is a little off topic, but it's come up from Sheffield Tree Project. That it'd be so nice to get the different agricultural forestry commissions together. Meeting. Just have a conversation about what different people learn from each other.
That meeting at Hancock Shaker Village was kind of, what we learned was, I think every really active commission, that's the vibe I got, was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, really active. And even some of the quote unquote active commissions were meeting like once or twice a year. So that's the vibe I got. And there was some that were starting to be more like us. I mean, obviously we have a dual purpose, but the ones that were there definitely didn't seem, and some of our biggest communities from what we learned was like Lanesboro has some of the most farms in the Berkshires.
Yeah.
And their ag commission, I got the vibe that it had only been meeting once a year, once or twice a year, if that. So, but from Pete, they said they were worried about these funds just sitting in a pot and not being used. That's the vibe they were getting from their commission or their CPC.
And Sheffield was one of the few that seemed to be really more doing stuff.
Yeah.
The
And-
Sheffield that talked to me, the Sheffield Land Trust person talked to me about it.
Yeah, and somebody who is from Sheffield, whose name I cannot remember, is got like 5 hats. One of them is on his commission, one of them is he's a select board member, he's a farmer, he's
Bob.
on. Yeah, that sounds right. So I think that possibly because he's so active in all these different things.
Yep.
That helps to bring the
There's,
energy.
there's a lot of active, they're farming. But
There's a lot of active communities. Yeah. And I don't know if, and Eric, I'm just reading the law again in section 8L, right in the beginning. I glazed over this in section B. I hope I'm saying this right. Section 8L B I. It says, unless otherwise restricted by law, a municipal agricultural commission may buy, hold, manage, lease, or license or lease land for agricultural purposes.
Right.
So that kind of makes it seem very open and shut in that.
And it's really about agriculture. It's not
Yeah.
for conservation, it's for agriculture.
Right. Well, and that's
But it may
really,
get complicated
Yeah.
on the land,
well,
Right.
exactly. If it's forested or,
if it's wetland.
and if it's wetland.
I
Yeah,
mean, it'll be complicated.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the case. But we're all on the same side.
Right.
Yep.
But the wetlands, I mean, conservation restrictions of the Conservation Commission aren't for the purpose of people making money. It's for the
Right.
purpose.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of these, I can imagine some of these properties are like abutting right up to wetlands, so there's the little crossover
Yeah.
there.
Most of Stockbridge is wet.
Yeah. Most of Stockbridge is wet.
And floodplains tend to be good agricultural land.
Right.
Exactly.
Ironically.
Yeah.
All right. So I think next steps is just assessors, and then we can get a report to see what is out there, and just start with that.
Yep. So I will pursue it now that we know where we stand. I'll
Yes.
go after the assessors.
Yes. Anything else about powers? I left tree ordinance on for discussion, just to see if anyone had more thoughts about a tree
I
ordinance.
plan to write a draft and I haven't written a
Oh.
draft, so maybe for the next meeting,
Um,
I'll write and send a draft.
That'd be great. Did anyone else have any thoughts about the tree bylaws?
If there's anything,
What is
Yeah.
the purpose
Mhm.
of us having a tree bylaw?
the main purpose I see is replacement and protection. Protection of town trees when there's construction going on. There's so much damage to the roots and to the trunk. I mean, I watched, I'm not going to say it because we're on a
Mhm.
Zoom, but I have observed damage to town trees under construction and, the roots just get torn up, the trunk gets torn up. And a bylaw does things like just say you have to put some protection on the tree, just simple things. And I'd like to see a bylaw that says, if the money's available, we replace town trees when they're taken down.
Mhm.
Those are the things that interest me.
Mhm.
Other towns have a lot more in them, but I think for me, those are two simple things that would help protect our trees.
So this is basically aimed at town trees.
Town trees,
Mhm.
yep. Town
Okay.
trees.
Yeah, because I think we talked about last time is like, I forget what they call it, just like putting like the 2x4s around the trees before construction starts. So that if backhoe swings its arm and hits, it doesn't take out
Yeah.
the bark.
And damage to the roots,
And
there's so much damage to the roots.
Right.
And heavy equipment, they park their heavy equipment overnight on the roots and they,
Compaction.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just to reiterate too, I have the guide to local tree bylaws, creating one for Massachusetts from DCR in the email. So if anyone has any, can really take a look at that and come up with, generate any other ideas. I didn't really have anything in particular besides the protection and replacing them. I couldn't really think of anything else that was special.
I'd be happy if we can get those two.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah, and just to help the next tree warden, whoever it may be, have a guide for enforcement. Which that kind of then just bleeds into the final discussion, which is the Main Street tree survey, and doing that and thinking about what trees we do want to replace as these bigger ones do come down.
I spoke with the Main Street inventory is done from the First Congregational Church to Town Hall on both sides, at least
Oh,
for
good.
species.
Mhm.
I kind of ran out of time.
Mhm.
And so before the leaves came down, so I didn't get condition on everyone,
Mhm.
but I'll go back once the leaves come out and get a better sense of that. And I didn't get all the diameters because I was trying to just get the species while I
Right.
could. But so I have not done recent work on that, but I do have at least a list of the 95 trees that are
Oh,
in
cool.
on those streets, on the street. I did speak to Julie Coop from DCR. She's the urban forester. And about replacements, I asked if she would come out and walk
Right.
Main Street with me. She said she doesn't really do that. There may be a couple arborists that are willing to do that. She was very realistic. She said, grants that they had a few years ago, they don't have this year. They're just gone. So there's not a lot of money available for
Right.
those kind of things. But she said, as hopefully down the line funding does become available, you can do replacement plan. So that may be something to look for. And I'm also trying to just pay attention to for the trees on the main section from the Red Lion to Elm Street. We just took another one down today. Very sad story. Very sad story, because we had it pruned, and when it was pruned, the arborist contacted me and said, there's really a big hollow there. This is a hazard tree. So we had to take it down. But there was a squirrel living in the tree that several people told me about. And this morning before it came down, I went and looked, and the squirrel was looking at the hollow. So I'm very distressed that this squirrel lost his home, because at the base that there was really most of the tree was hollow. So it was good that it came down. Would have fallen on somebody. But at the base, I thought there would be a cache of nuts, but there was a lot of like fluff that the squirrel had made. So I'm hoping squirrels have more than one home, and that he's going to be somewhere tomorrow when it snows.
So we could set up another home.
Yeah.
That's easy. Find a
We'll
appropriate tree.
We'll drop them off.
Yeah.
But anyway, that tree came down. We will replace that in the spring, but it's too late to replace it now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is, I guess this is a kind of a tangent. How much does the tree warden have in terms of budget for replacing?
Not enough.
Not enough.
I mean, there is a line
Some.
item.
Okay.
Yes.
There is some. So what would any CPA funds qualify for replacing on like Main Street or down, some of these trees, like some of these beautiful heritage trees.
CPA is
That
historic housing and open space.
open space.
I don't know if Main Street qualifies for open space. It's a
Or-
question.
Or outdoor recreation or,
But it might qualify for historic, actually. I mean, we tend to think of historic as just buildings, but but the streetscape for Main Street is a really valuable historic asset to the town. It could be argued.
I think we can ask Sally, I think it's a stretch for CPA.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, because I was on CPA in Barrington, I don't think you can use it for planting. But we can ask.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some funds available. I do hope to replace that in the spring.
Gotcha.
When it comes to replacing the trees and selecting species, do you have free rein on that? Or you don't have to like get approval from anybody for like which tree you're gonna,
No.
which trunk.
No, I can pick, and my preference is native.
Yeah, sure.
You really want something that's not going to push up the sidewalks.
The space that is available now is so small for big
Yeah.
trees, and it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And if I ask 10 different people what they would like to see on Main Street, there's 10 different answers. It's people, which is good. People have strong feelings about trees, and I appreciate that, but there's not a simple answer.
Yeah, and when people think about what they would like, they're not thinking in terms of the constraints that really limit the realistic choices.
Right. Well, it's also part of why I'm doing the inventory and including condition, because I've gotten good information about, if you go all the way down to the church, about what's doing well and what's not doing well. So that helps inform what replacements will be. Because some things really aren't doing well. Some things are doing great with the climate changing, with all the salt, with all the cars.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a street tree. It's not an easy thing to do.
Well, yeah, I think it's, dovetailing back into the tree ordinance, because I'm trying to see if any other town in Massachusetts use CPA for a tree. And I don't, on a quick search, I don't see anything, but maybe in the tree bylaw, in terms of replacing, there could be something about having a tree fund. Like specifically just and designate it for, like Main Street and stuff like that. And I don't know if that would be legal or how that would work in tree ordinance.
You mean that people could donate to?
I don't know what the legalese are to be set up.
There's a line item in the tree warden budget for planting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it exists.
But would there be, like you're saying, if there isn't enough replacing, is there like some kind of tree fund that we could make aside from that? Because I think the tree warden is, it's in a lot of other places too, right? But like for like Main Street, having something that's just set aside for when these big trees come down. And I don't want to say a lot.
No, but that's interesting because Main Street is high profile, high visibility. I mean, it's the kind of thing that people aren't going to want to give money for just like general purpose
Right.
tree. But for Main Street, like, okay.
Because you said there was how many trees? There was 100?
95.
95.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe even something like the Lennox Garden Club would give a little bit of money. I mean, it's beautification. It's not, I don't know if they ever support trees as opposed to, shrubs and perennials and whatnot.
I mean, why would Lennox give to Stockbridge?
Well, the garden club gives money all over the
Oh, they
place.
do.
Like garden, oh yeah. Yeah. So that's, I don't know how it would be set up or what,
It's a thought.
but, in this kind of like, if we're going to do a bylaw or something, just establishing a nominal fee that's just set aside for
That people can donate.
that people could donate to, the town could put a little bit in, and just so that it's there and ready to go when we need to replace a big tree.
Yep.
Because I also think, I always worry about the island too, right? Next to Red Line Inn.
Oh, that Christmas tree is really,
Well, when the time comes that if we want, I don't want to bring up Pittsfield, but when they replaced their Christmas tree, that was a very, I remember that got a lot of coverage for when they put in a 4 foot tall Christmas tree. So, not saying it would just be for that, but like some kind of fund for.
Eric's point, especially in the small spaces we have on Main Street,
Mhm.
you can't start off with a big tree.
No,
It's
no.
not gonna, you can grow a bigger tree, but you can't start off with a big
Right,
tree.
right.
and that tree was something like 6 feet tall when it was planted
Right.
by I think it was the veterans.
Yeah, Vietnam veterans or
I
the,
think so.
yeah.
The veterans group,
Mhm.
obviously a while ago.
Right, right.
And I mean, even when I was at Laurel Hill Association, it's been a few years, arborist said that tree has not very many years left.
Right,
So-
right.
Let it last a little longer.
It'll be a little longer, yeah.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
it's going to be interesting to plant something there that's going to be,
It's going to look a lot different when that
yeah,
eventually. But I think if we start planning now, and of all the spaces that it's hard to be a tree in traffic, let alone tree in traffic right at the corner of
Right,
yeah.
that where all the traffic in the Berkshires passes through.
right.
Well, and for that matter, on that island, we've got those little birches, which aren't great either. I mean,
Mhm.
it'd be interesting to see about maybe just looking at that island altogether and say, what do we want to do with it?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Those birches aren't the happiest, but we don't have to get into that today. Let's knock on wood and hopefully that all outlives us. Okay. So that's the last thing I have on the agenda today. Is there anything else that people want to bring up, before we carry on?
Good.
Nope, I'm good.
Cool. So our next official meeting would be, I think the 5th of January.
Yeah.
That sound good with everyone? Cool.
Works for me.
Okay.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you for bearing with me.
Thank you.